Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Jethro Elfman, though, shout out. Jethro is a patron of mine, and on Patreon, something, the thing that I make my money from, they sent me an article, which is going to be the first one that we're covering today.
Woohoo!
Let's hop right into it. The Church of Bleach family gets years in prison for deadly miracle solution. And as always, it's cropped like shit because news articles never line up their headlines with the actual thing, and I crop it for the actual thing. So I was going to, this is a fairly short article. I'm just going to read the whole damn thing.
Oh, good.
Oh, Fennec is in Twitch chat saying, "You're still awesome, Lady Rhino."
Thanks.
And Paul Thompson says she has puddles Rhino. Oh, not Thompson. That's not Paul Thompson. That's Paul the Potato.
I'm a potato.
That's the one. We got Quillo Girl in the Twitch chat. So yeah, I'm on Twitch as well. So yeah, if you want to watch on Twitch, you can go watch over there. All Cirrus's audience that likes Twitch, you can watch me on Twitch. And stuff. Ooh, I got 10 viewers on Twitch. That's a lot.
Ooh.
Anyway, so I was going through this article. I was highlighting it for everything. I was highlighting everything that I wanted to talk about, every point that I wanted to read out. And I almost had the whole thing highlighted. So I'm just going to read the article for you. So, a federal judge in Miami has handed down years-long prison sentences to a Florida father and his 3 adult sons who were convicted in July of using a faux church to sell an industrial-strength bleaching agent as a miracle solution they falsely claimed could cure serious illnesses such as cancer, HIV, AIDS, and COVID-19. Yeah, drink bleach to cure cancer. Great. That's surely not going to result in anything bad. So Father Mark Grennan, 66, the patriarch of the so-called Church of Bleach, and one of his sons, Joseph Grennan, 36, were sentenced to 60 months in prison. That's 5 years.
That's it?
Yeah, the statutory maximum sentence for their conviction of conspiring to defraud the United States by distributing an unapproved and misbranded drug.
Yeah, but it's not just defraud. People can die from that shit.
Oh, people have died from that shit.
So how is it not got manslaughter?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Or that's my thing, is that,
well,
they
it's not
should...
your thing, because I said it
yeah,
first.
you said it, but... That's what I was thinking when I was reading this, was that, that sounds like a manslaughter charge.
What kind of bullshit?
At least one. But I guess it's because technically they took it of their own volition. They didn't force it on them or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but there are people...
If you drink poison, you don't get to press murder charges against the person who sold you the poison if you legitimately bought it.
Yeah, but when you think of it from a religious organization perspective, they are people in authority telling them that this is what will work for them. So they're preying on the vulnerable.
That's the thing, though, is that they're not a person of authority. They set up this church when they were told to stop selling it as just a product. So, it was very clearly, and they had mandatory donations. We'll get to that later in the article, but it was if you want this cure for everything, you must donate to our church. So it was... I'm very much against the RFRA thing where companies can get around regulations just by saying oh, that's our sincerely held religious beliefs. Because how does a court adjudicate sincerity of religious belief? That's not something that can be done. So they just, what's generally happened is if it's a version of Christianity, they just assume it's sincere and anything else is not. That's pretty much what happened under RFRA, which is the Religious Freedom and Restoration Act, which was signed by Bill Clinton, by the way. I was very disappointed in him when I heard that. But yeah, no. So this one, though, was very obviously not a sincere church.
Exactly.
Because they set it up in that whole, you have to donate in order to get our product that isn't really a product. Senshini says, "Aloha, Rhino, Heidi, and chat, and not Cirrus." Yeah, so 2 of his other kids, Jonathan and Jordan Grennan, received longer sentences of 12 years and 7 months because they were convicted of contempt of court as well as conspiring to defraud the United States. But Mark and Joseph fled to Colombia, and then as part of the extradition deal to get them out of Colombia, they dropped the contempt of court charges against them. So that's why they only got 5 years.
So it's time for some civil cases. Dum, 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 dum.
So during the jury trial, federal prosecutors described the Grennans as con men and snake oil salesmen who in 2010 began selling their dangerous bleach product, the Miracle Mineral Solution, or MMS, through a non-religious church called the Genesis 2 Church of Health and Healing.
Like, so they literally just bottled bleach? That's all they did?
No. It's like 2 ingredients that mix together that makes industrial strength bleach when you mix them.
Did they know that?
Yes.
How is this not fucking manslaughter?
I don't know.
Like, it's not like they didn't know that the chemical reaction these 2 products made was bleach that they are feeding to people.
Jethro Elfman sent $3 in a super chat. Thank you, Jethro. The source of this article for me.
Woo-hoo! I do love.
So yeah, they were selling the MMS as a sacrament in exchange for mandatory donations to the church, while claiming the MMS could treat serious conditions including cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, autism, malaria, hepatitis, Parkinson's, herpes, HIV/AIDS, and COVID-19. You
know what? I'm sorry. I usually don't wish death on people, and maybe I'm not wishing death on people.
Loki the Triad Trickster wants you to nom nom on the chat.
How do I do that?
Nom nom nom. Yeah, you eat the chat.
Oh, no. Oh, I get it now. Sorry. Damn it, where was I going? So I seriously hope that someone in whatever prison they're going to, one of their family members was affected by this stupid bleach product. And that's all I'm saying about it.
Beep.
That's all. I
have a censor button if you want to say more.
No, that's all I'm saying about it. Infer what you will. That's all I'm saying.
So they're talking in the chat. This was actually a conversation that was going on pre-show. They were talking in the chat about how, like, oh, well, if you have a hangnail, technically chopping your arm off it does remove the problem of the hangnail.
What's that got to do with what I just said?
Well, because it's using bleach, like drinking bleach to cure all these things.
Oh, I thought you were referring to someone in the prison. No. I was like, what?
If you drink bleach and die, well, they're having that conversation again. So, like, if you drink bleach and die, you don't have to worry about your cancer anymore.
Yeah, that is very true.
And then Neuromputz learned just how wiggly I can be with technicalities, and saying like, well, I think you'd get charged with medical malpractice for that. I'm like, well, I don't have a license to practice medicine, so you can't charge me with malpractice. They're like, oh, well, then you get charged with practicing medicine without a license. I'm like, well, if it's something that would constitute malpractice, then it's not technically practicing medicine now, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fennec is saying not just drinking bleach, but also fucking enemas. Yeah, they were giving enemas to nonverbal autistic kids.
So they were physically giving them?
Not these guys, but like they would sell the bleach to parents saying that that's how you administer it.
Our children. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, prosecutors said the family sold tens of thousands of bottles of MMS, making more than $1 million over the years. MMS is consumed as chlorine dioxide, a powerful bleaching agent that can cause severe vomiting, diarrhea, and life-threatening low blood pressure. The FDA has warned consumers of the product in 2019, received reports of people requiring hospitalizations, developing life-threatening conditions, and even dying after drinking the MMS, according to prosecutors. So, yeah, I feel like manslaughter charges are in order if we actually know.
See, with a case like this, I don't know if they did or didn't, but like with a case like this where it says they made millions of dollars, please tell me all their assets get frozen.
I would hope so.
And then all these people can file civil cases and get some retribution for like what they had to go through.
And when they were first charged with this in 2020, they sent letters to a federal judge warning that they would pick up guns and stage a Waco. You know Waco, Texas?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure. You don't know who Jim fucking Jordan is. And he's our next story. Maybe not the next story, but...
But that was a big event. I don't know, stupid people.
All right, so the Grennans speak. Throughout the trial, the Grennans represented themselves, but did not speak in their defense, seemingly as a form of protest. So they're idiots.
Well, maybe they knew if they spoke that they might get charged with other shit because they might slip up.
Okay.
So if they don't speak, they can only be charged with what they're charging them for.
They represented themselves, which is always a bad idea. They did not speak in their defense, which actually can be a good idea. Like, if you are put on criminal trial, it's generally not a good idea to take the stand in your own defense.
True story.
That is good lawyer advice in most cases. So, like, that could have been them being a little bit intelligent. So they did have court-appointed attorneys, but they didn't let them do anything in their defense. In July, a Miami jury took just 30 minutes to return the guilty verdicts for the 4 men, according to the Miami Herald.
And it took 30 minutes because it took them 15 minutes to walk to the room and 15 minutes to walk
probably.
back.
And then last week, after or during the sentencing thing, like when the shit finally hit the fan, they suddenly were not silent in form of protest anymore. They opened up their mouths to beg for mercy.
That's how it always works, though.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to be in stoic silence as a form of protest to show that I'm being persecuted on my way to prison. Oh, wait, I'll actually go to prison? Please don't send me to prison. Yeah, they're always so brave until the consequences actually show up. Mark Grennan reportedly argued to the judge that he was a victim in the case and that his 3 years in custody so far amounted to kidnapping. As such, he said the U.S. government owed him compensation of $5.76 million for being held unlawfully. So when you go to prison for selling a product that kills people and you know that it kills people, you can then sue the government for kidnapping and ask for millions of dollars.
Who the fuck are these people? Not
The
literally,
Grennans.
just...
It's the Grennan family.
Where's Rudy?
Your Omnipus says, oh, Sovsit then. Yeah, I was getting Sovsit vibes from these guys as well. You know what the Sovsit guys are?
I do not.
The sovereign citizen movement.
No.
They're the people who are like, oh, because there's a special fringe on the American flag, it's actually a naval flag instead of the country flag, so America's not really a country, it's a corporation, and therefore the laws don't apply. The only thing that applies is, I don't know, the Constitution or some shit. I don't know. There's this whole thing. And
So the only thing that makes a country is the flag?
They don't have any good... I'm not accurately representing their arguments, but their arguments are just about as stupid as what I'm saying. Fennec says, oh no, it's the consequences of my actions. But yeah, they're the people that when they get pulled over by the police and they don't have a license to drive, they'll be like, you're infringing my right to travel. Because that's a protected right in the Constitution. Not realizing that travel does not mean drive operate a motor vehicle that requires a license.
You have the right to walk to where you want to go.
You can walk wherever the fuck you want to go. You can take a train wherever the fuck you want to go. Can't drive a car on a road that requires a license without a license. But yeah, they also, like, there's some loophole that they try to use to get out of paying income tax until they go to prison for not paying income tax. That's how Kent Hovind went to prison, because that's what he was doing. And he was making Sovset arguments. Yeah. There's also a whole thing like, if you sign your name in all caps, it means something different than if you use lowercase letters. And so, like, people don't really exist because if you look at your birth certificate, it's in all caps. So, and technically there's like a bank account that you are entitled to access that has millions of dollars in it.
Like, I love a good conspiracy theory, but like these
This
aren't
is not
even
a good conspiracy.
Like, no. Damn it, I had a question for you. What were you talking about before that? Okay. So they feel that the country doesn't exist, therefore blah, 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 blah. But the courts are created by the country to enforce the country's law, so they think that going to the court and telling them that they have no right, the court's going to be like, yeah, sure, I agree with you. The job that's paying me money to put a roof over my family's head.
Yeah, but the courts have the gold fringe around the flag, so they're going by maritime law instead of country law or some shit. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Canada have Sovsits too. Yeah, the Queen of Canada, she's one of them. Do you know about Queen Dildo?
I've heard, but I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're not going over that again.
Okay.
Look up Queen Dildo.
Yeah, no, I've heard.
Anyway, so he argued to the judge that he's a victim, needs $5.76 million.
But when you say that, I actually think of Dr. Sue. Like, I feel like she should be. Continue.
Dr. Sue is the Canadian version of Dr. Ruth.
Mhm.
Yeah. He apparently put the deal to the judge asking yes or no. Because goes up to the judge, I was kidnapped. Yes or no?
What? Like, that was his defense.
Yeah, no, he's like, I was kidnapped. You guys owe me $5.76 million. Are you going to pay that? Yes or no?
I want to. Did somebody?
I want,
is that on film. I want to see it. I do. I want to see it. And please tell me he was in front of Judge Judy when he did that.
It was Judge Cecilia Altanaga. Called it a nonsensical question and says, I won't answer that. The three sons, meanwhile, said they did not consent to the judicial proceedings and claimed their time in custody was already enough. I don't consent to being held in prison. Therefore, you can't hold me in prison.
These people are fucking hilarious. The sad thing is they're going to get a reality show after this.
Lord of Uzkalak says, look up Queen Dildo, especially click the links marked Bad Dragon.
I do not trust you, Lord Uzkalak.
Oh, I already know what the Bad Dragon is. Do you not know about the Bad Dragon?
I do not know about the Bad Dragon.
It's like the biggest dildo ever.
What?
It's like this long, this big around. It's got like suction cups on it. I don't know how anybody fits it inside them at all.
It's not a real, like, people don't actually use it.
Well, I'm sure they try.
Yeah.
They get a little ways.
It's just a conversation
I'm
piece.
sure we could find videos somewhere.
It's a conversation piece.
Chessa, I don't consent. Drink. No, if you don't consent, drinking is not the answer. That will make the consent more fuzzy. Anyway.
Well, no, because you were clear. I don't consent. Whether you're drinking or not, you have made it clear.
Yes, okay, fair point. Yes. That's what I'm getting at, though, is that you've already said you don't consent, so then if you continue drinking and then you say yes later because you're more drunk now.
Correct.
As a responsible person, I'd be like, no, when you were sober, you said no, so I'm going to take that no over the drunk yes.
If I
But
can't
not
sign
everybody
a
is
binding legal agreement when I am drunk, my consent does not change when I'm
I thought for a second that you were going to go in the direction of there should be like a written contract before sex, because there are people that will argue for that.
No, because like contracts, you have to be in the right sound, body, mind, whatever the saying is.
Yeah.
And so if there is no consent before I'm drunk, there's absolutely no consent after I'm drunk, because I am physically incapable of consenting, regardless of whether speech is coming out of my mouth or not.
Listen. Yeah, anyway, so Jonathan Grennan said, I have lost everything, he told the court, noting that he was...
Your life? You've lost your life? What?
I believe I should be released to my family. It's like, no, you've lost everything. Good.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't lost his life like the other people that he fed Bleach to.
He's lost all of his material possessions, to which I say good. That is less than you deserve.
Lose everything and then I will reconsider.
The Grendons had previously stated that they plan to appeal their convictions, because of course they do.